This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Good morning. This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. I'm not Frank Skinner. I'm Emily Dean. I'm in Frank's chair this week because he's away. He's experimenting with doing 3 days a week as Chancellor of the Exchequer. So we'll let you know how that works out. While he's exchecking, I'm joined by two very lovely boys. Alun Cochrane.
Morning.
I quite like that. It was a bit like we'd had an ill-advised one-night stand. Morning. And Gareth Richards.
Good morning.
Squeaky-chaired Gareth Richards. How are you, boys?
Very good.
Oh, my chest smells too.
Why are you both squeaking?
We can't move a muscle.
You know why that is? I'm just experimenting with jingles because I can.
Good.
You can text the show on 81215. I didn't do the business. Big Daddy will never forgive me.
Oh, yeah.
You can... He's too busy counting all the coffers now. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. So I've got so much to talk to you about. We can either talk about, would you like to kick off with my dog? Because I bought a dog.
The dog's arrived.
How exciting.
Or we can talk about my driver. My dog or my driver?
Just the D's.
Yeah, I sound like Paris Hilton at this point. This isn't a regular driver. This is a guy who picked me up. That sounds worse, but you know what I mean. Alun Cochrane, you choose.
Well, I'm not that decisive. Gareth,
Dog. I want to hear about the dog
okay,
first.
let's do dog.
Oh, he likes the dog. Okay, the dog, then the driver. Well, I bought a little Shih Tzu.
Are we allowed to say that?
My heart stopped for a moment there.
From now on, are we going to call it Puppy?
Ow! Obviously, I was going to go comedy breed. I mean,
give him a chance. See how he turns out.
Yeah.
It was very important to me that the name would inspire laughter, which it does. It seems to. He's called Ray. I'm quite in love with him. And 11 weeks and no, he doesn't sleep in the bed. Because this is what everyone asks all the time, and those are the two answers to the questions.
How old is he? Being 11 weeks?
Yes.
Not how long have you had him?
No.
You've had him a week.
He's 11 weeks old and he doesn't sleep in the bed. He's in a puppy playpen, which is... I've bought quite a fashionable one. My friend said it looks like...
I'm shocked.
I'm not saying it's rose gold, but...
Nearly.
Yeah, there's a lot of sheepskin.
Wow.
It's so cute, though, and I am completely in love with him, but I have newfound respect for you people that have children, because it's a lot of work, isn't it? Looking after another being.
It is, although I think children, when they arrive, are less mobile.
Oh, really?
They're
more like slugs or something.
Yeah, it doesn't, they don't scamper so much straight away.
Okay.
So I think you've probably got more work going on. I mean, I know that's controversial to say.
That is... I'm surprised at this tack that you've taken. It's good.
How's the feeding going? So I don't know the differences.
I find Gareth to be the exception to a rule here, which is that I find people with children hate finding them being compared to the care of a dog.
Why?
I don't know.
Because what I would say, well, they need to get over themselves, firstly.
My problem is,
secondly,
to be fair, I have no memory of my children being younger than 2. I've just blocked it all out.
Have you?
Right, yeah.
So make of that what you will.
Yes, that's true. I mean, people have said to me, "You're right, Al." People have said, "Look, they don't communicate with you. There is a difference here." And I suppose they won't care for you when you're older. But the other thing is about the dog.
If you train it well.
I know, but they won't turn around to me when I'm 16 and ask for money and swear at me.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It depends how well I train him.
Yeah.
But is it a bit like going out with a really good-looking man? Because you get all this attention when you go out and everyone's like, oh, isn't he amazing? Oh, he's so gorgeous. And then you have to go home and then he goes to the bathroom on the bedroom floor and falls asleep. That's my life right now.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the dog. So my little Shih Tzu...
Puppy.
Yes. I love him, Al.
That's nice, yeah. He's tiny, isn't he? I mean, he's not going to get much bigger than...
Oh, no, he will grow.
Will he?
Yeah, he will grow. He's got 3 growing spurts, I believe.
Is that right?
Yes.
At the moment, you can't see him with the naked eye.
No, that's right. He's a little dog.
There's a magnifying system as part of the rose gold.
Yeah, you haven't got a brown rug, have you?
No, I've intentionally not got a brown rug.
Yeah.
However, the only thing that's concerning me, and I don't want to abuse the show while Frank's away for my own means, but I will.
Uh-oh.
This is a shout out to all my friends and family and those who love me. Please don't buy me a load of dog stuff. I mean, I love the dogs, but you know, it's like when people take up the piano and they get a treble clef key ring for Christmas, or a piano key tie. Oh, you're the piano person. Yeah.
That'd be great, actually, yeah.
I mean, I can imagine, Al. I was going to say, now that you do the grappling, I bet you get a load of grappling-based products, but I've just realised you received one this morning. Would you like to share?
I got my new gum shield with the Cochrane written across it in gold, just so that I can't go to clubs with any real anonymity now. But
Who got you that?
This radio show, indeed, for my birthday.
Monday.
Thank you, everyone.
And we've all punched you in the face this morning.
It's a celebration.
Working a treat.
Don't say that. The listenership might think, oh yeah, I'll have a go at that. That sounds great. There will be a queue at Golden Square by brunch time.
I mean, for one, I would like to share an image with you if you feel comfortable. See how you feel this morning. But I think you look pretty sinister and not a little bit alluring with that gum shield on.
That's what I'm going for.
Not a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
So I was thinking that the word puppy often precedes fat, but the dog's like a little slip of a thing, isn't it, currently? It's not going to become a fat dog.
This is a good point. People say puppy fat, don't they?
They do say puppy fat, but I think it's wrong.
Well, I tell you what.
Not all puppies be fat.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I like this new character development. But Al, I tell you, they do go through a stage called the uglies, I believe, the puppy uglies.
Do they?
Yes, mine hasn't got to that yet, so
I'm still in my place.
Well, let's just hope he makes the grade.
Yeah.
No, of course I will tolerate him however he ends up looking.
Have you already missed the puppy uglies?
This is just like having children. It really is.
Do you think he's already had the puppy uglies and before he got to you?
How dare you, Alan? No. Alan has met the dog already. Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I hope so. Yeah, maybe he's gone through that difficult stage.
It would be weird if he suddenly had them at like 6 months when he's like a little dog, really. I don't know, how long is he a puppy for? What's the time
Well, if any of our readers know how long one is a puppy for,
I mean, humans
text
are
us in on 8, 12, 15.
16 years, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, when does he stop being a puppy? I mean, that's the question we can't answer already.
I suspect I'm going just for a year old, just because that feels like a nice round number.
Okay.
But
human years, dog years. So if it was 16 for people, that's like 2.5 dog years, is it?
Aladdin?
Years?
Yes.
Alan's got a calculator out.
Back of the envelope. There we go.
There we go.
He's always got a calculator out.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
Emily Dean on 8, 12, 15.
Gareth,
Brilliant.
That's a jingle. Maybe you could put a little tune to it.
Okay.
Maybe workshop that while we're on air. Meanwhile, I want to talk to you about this guy who picked me up. Well, a driver he was, called Florian.
Keep it daytime.
Yeah, I will.
Story.
I won't do Absolute Radio nights, Frank Skinner Show nights. My driver called Florian, which I think is a really beautiful name.
Nice.
He was Romanian, and I'd ordered this car to go and meet my dining companion, and I got chatting to the driver.
It's a bit of a story like Dorothy Parker telling it or something. Dining companion.
Yeah, and we were going to meet Oscar Wilde. I'm trying to protect the names of the not so innocent. He was quite a philosophical chap, Florian, which I like in a driver. And
although with a driver, you don't want him also always to be Florian in it.
I see.
You see?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see too. He made a joke.
And Florian.
Yeah, no, Florian. I saw it. It happened.
I just say Alan saying, I see, was the most devastating response to a joke I've ever had.
What's the most devastating response to a joke you've had? Text in on 8, 12, 15.
I once saw a comic.
This morning.
I once saw a comic who will remain nameless, dying at a gig, like really going badly, told a very good joke, and an audience member went, too late.
Oh dear. Oh, that is a sick burn.
It was excellent.
So Florian, I really liked the measure of Florian. We talked about, he had, I'm struggling because this is going to make me sound a bit entitled, but we both had Benzes, it turned out.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
We talked about them,
worry.
and he said, I'm going to do an accent. Is that okay, Charlie, producer? Are you okay with that?
Depends
Okay.
which one, but Florian.
It's
sounds like it's gonna
Romanian.
be
How
fine.
does everyone
Yeah.
feel about this? If you've got
Yeah,
any
go for it.
concerns, text in on 81215 and I'll stop. He said, what do you drive? I said, oh, Mercedes. He went, yeah, me too. I said, yeah, I know, I'm in the car. He says, nice car. Good car. I said, yeah, it's a great car.
The reviews are in.
He said something extraordinary to me then. He said, I tell you what, Emily, if you take care of your car, she gonna take care of you.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's not actually true, is it? Until we've got full artificial intelligence where the car can look after. I mean,
Look,
it'll
I'm
just-
not sure she's going to arrange for my care home, the car.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, apart from his slightly old world order use of the word she for the vehicle, other genders are available, Florian.
Well, you
Well,
know, I think
neither.
it's the one area.
and machines.
I did feel, I think that's true. In some ways, you could apply that to a lot of areas of your life. The producer, Charlie, I take care of her, she gonna take care of me.
That's right. Yeah.
But mostly she takes care of you.
I mean, there are avenues of life where it doesn't work. You know, my eyebrows. I take care of them. They do absolutely nothing back for me. Just nothing. I'm getting nothing
Yeah.
back from my eyebrows.
I mean, it is how it works with parents. It works like that. Oh no, that's they take care of you. You take care of them. That's the
Money, you take care of your money, she gonna take care of you.
Yeah. I mean, all right. I like the cut of his jib.
Do you?
Fair enough.
I mean, it doesn't work for everything. And I understand about the eyebrows, which I think is an absolutely brilliant observation.
My problem with him is that he's given me a flashback. I once got pulled over on a Vespa 125 in the central London area by quite an aggressive traffic cop with a Scottish accent, and my back tyre
Alan's Scottish, so he's allowed to say that.
My back tyre was a little bit flat, and I hadn't been riding the Vespa for very long, and he said, you've not been riding motorcycles for very long, Mr. Cochrane. Let me give you a piece of advice. Look after your tyres, and your tyres will look after you. And I hated him from that moment on, whereas you've taken it in a much more positive way.
Those guys can get together.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
So we've had a tweet in from Hayley, and it's to @Frank on the radio. Love Room 101. You have me in stitches every week. So she's clearly listening closely this morning.
That's good. Well, we
Thank you,
don't
Hayley.
normally accept praise.
We'll pass it on.
We will
pass it
pass on. I mean, what's Frank going to say? The show's gone to pieces. We're accepting praise.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't
Sorry,
like
I ruined
that.
it.
No, having said that, I
He's
think
not here.
He's not here.
Yeah.
Point,
So
yeah.
we'll store it up and
Wants
pass it
to
on
apply
to him.
rules, then show up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he any more praise for Frank, we will read it out today.
We'll read it out. I'm concerned about the way
That I think he might like.
the praise hour. That can be 9 till 10. The praise hour for Frank on Absolute Radio. The reason I like Frank, well, I mean, I could do 3 hours of praise for Frank. There you go. Excuse me, Gareth. Well, don't vomit.
Sorry.
Because you just said, which was rather embarrassing, you said, we've had a tweet in. I like to at
Is that
least
not-
make it look as though we're inundated with correspondence.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yet another. Just
One-
put in.
one of-
Yeah,
Yet
we've had yet another tweet. Exactly, Alan.
I always do that. Yeah.
Now, but meanwhile,
Yes.
I'm in the Benz with Florian.
Oh, I love this. I love the fact that drivers are now wise creatures, giving you little bits of... It used to be they were just racist, and now they've sort of moved on to sort of stoicism, and it's a wonderful world, isn't it? This is progress.
Well, I felt I learned a lot from Florian. And, I mean, it was quite mafia-sounding advice.
Right.
You take care of her, she take care of you. And we've already established, Alan, not that practical.
Right.
However, he wasn't done. We inched forward in the traffic. There were some drunks staggering around, as they tend to. And he said, they're going to have a long night. I said, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I said, I think they're drunk already. And Florian said, if they like it, they choose it. Now, I'm not so convinced about that one.
And then did he go, until it starts to choose them?
No, he didn't go that meta on me.
Are all of his arguments about you pick a thing and then it picks you? Is that how it goes?
I grant you, it's quite a basic structure he has for his philosophy.
Good though.
However, he then went on to say something which I did see some truth in this. We were talking about, after he'd said if they like it, they choose it, which, as I say, I was less convinced by that. I wouldn't put that on the cover of his forthcoming Wit and Wisdom of Florian book, available at Amazon. But then he said, when you drink, what you win? You win nothing.
Excellent.
You lose the night and you lose the next day.
Wow.
What do we think of that?
That's true.
8, 12, 15 for the hungover.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
Now, come on, gents. I love gents.
Creaky.
What's that?
It's creaking again.
Oh, you creaking?
Creaky, sorry.
Oh, okay.
When you drink, what do you win? That was Florian's last bit of wisdom.
Florian the driver. That was the wisdom that he imparted to me. He said, when you drink, what do you win? You win nothing.
We should just say that he was driving you rather than you were attending a casino.
Yeah.
What do you win? Well, I'm all out.
Yeah.
And some drinks you have a competition, or, like a can of something, and it's got a competition, and you pull the thing, and if it's got a certain symbol, then you win.
That's true. If it was a promotional drink, you would win.
Yeah.
But I would have felt really petty bringing that up with him.
Maybe.
For some reason.
But you have a better way with people than me.
Depends on the people, Gareth. As we well know.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I once had a taxi driver who insisted that people's expectations from a relationship were wrong. And he said, a lot of people, they expect to be compatible 100%. And he was going, 100% is just not realistic. 70%. And he kept discussing relationships in the percentage that people should expect to get on. And I was sort of tempted to have, are you sure 68? No, 68?
Yeah.
No, 72. Me and my wife, I don't know if, I couldn't begin to put a percentage on how much my wife and I are compatible, but he thought 70 was all right.
As long as
100.
so what did he mean? As long as you got on 70% of the time, or that you would say your personalities were 70% aligned?
Yeah, he thought that the reason for divorce is that people thought that they were going to be 100% aligned, and that they weren't. They were 70% aligned, and that he should just. The other 30% you should give somebody a break, like let them walk out the room and do what they want for a bit, rather than going, come on, let's get on. That's what he thought was the problem.
Do you know what? I'd take 10%, to be honest.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You're listening to The Frank Skinner Show. Frank's not here this morning. I'm Emily Dean. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter @Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
And speaking of Twitter...
That was Gareth Richards, by the way.
Hello, everybody. Many tweets we're having in. One of the many, many tweets we've received.
Good.
And can I just say, we read each and every one of your tweets. They're a pleasure to read.
But not out on the show.
But not publicly.
It would take too long, wouldn't it?
It depends on the tweet, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
We don't get too much abuse.
No.
As really.
And this is from Kevin G. Conroy. And his question is, has Frank lost interest in the show?
Well, I mean, that's a big question. I don't think so. He's busy doing his portfolio career as Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Very committed to the show.
Got a lot of
He's
plates
very
in the air.
committed. He has great love for us. He's our big daddy. He's not going to leave us orphaned.
I just made a mistake there. I said
did
he's
you
got
say?
a lot of plates in the air, but it's plates spinning and balls in the air, isn't it?
You don't want plates in the air. They're all going to come crashing down.
Exactly. They're the juggling analogies that people use.
That's not good. And I was talking about my driver earlier, Florian.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a very nice tweet from one of my regulars, Annie QPR, who says, "Wonderful Florian. I do hope your dinner date wasn't a letdown after such wisdom and entertainment." It was lovely, Annie. But Florian is quite the man. I mean, I recommend him.
Yeah, speaking of driver wisdom, I was in a taxi the other day, and on one side there was a cemetery. It's a big cemetery that's in Bournemouth, and then the other side it's all houses. And the driver said to me, "Do you know that none of the people who are in these houses are allowed to be buried in that cemetery?" I was like, "Really? Why not?" He said, "Oh, because they're alive."
He's got material.
He's got jokes.
That's a bit of local.
Driver's got local jokes, Al.
Do you know what? I was like, "Did you write that?"
Were you feeling gel of the driver?
I was like, he
Does
goes,
own stuff.
I said,
I think that's not bad.
Great.
To be honest.
I said, "That's good material." He goes, "Yeah, it's a good icebreaker, get a conversation going."
Well, it's like when my mother was in Manchester and she said, "What's the population of Manchester?" And he said, "Well, there's 4 in our house for a start." Decent material. Come on, drivers of the world, come forward. I mean, you say, Spank got other fish to fry with these drivers out there. It's competitive, I tell you. So, what else has been happening?
Well, big news this week, it's been all over the papers, is that Prince William did some dancing.
Okay, thanks for that news update.
It's been all over the papers.
I do want to get back to the dancing because I've studied it quite forensically, as you can imagine. Powder blue shirt picked up on the way to Euston Station. But we'll be back in a bit.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
We were talking about Prince William.
Yes, so
you were specifically, Gareth.
Poor old Prince William. He had
first time that's ever been said.
He had a lad's holiday away in Verbier in Switzerland. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. I like your confidence in this story.
Yeah, a lot of question marks in a sentence that doesn't need any.
I suspect when he got on that plane, he said, in a kind of joking way, he said to one of his mates, Guy or Monty, "Leave your ball and chain at home."
Do you think?
I suspect he did.
They went away skiing, and there's some controversy about it because it was Commonwealth Day.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so the royals were getting together to go to a Commonwealth Day service.
Yeah. Not Wales.
Do you guys do anything for Commonwealth Day?
I didn't do much for this year's Commonwealth Day.
I have a Commonwealth party.
Do you?
Yeah. Not many people turned up this year. Everyone was skiing.
We had a low-key Commonwealth Day in our house this year. But so that people are saying he's shirking his duties.
The Daily Mail were especially vexed about him going on holiday because they said the Queen considers Commonwealth Day as one of the most important dates in the royals' calendar.
Does she?
And I thought, well, who cares what their gran thinks? Like, my gran thinks the Countdown Conundrum's an important part of the day, but I don't. Like, I don't spend any time worrying about.
Also, in fairness, I think this was kind of sweet justice because the Queen has to basically on Commonwealth Day endure a lot of bad dancing, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
And now we've had to see William doing it. But I mean, I don't know where to begin when it comes to the dancing. He was
Powder blue shirts?
Powder blue shirts.
That's where you're going to begin, I'm certain.
Friendship bracelets.
Oh,
They love a friendship bracelet. The Gap Year Royals. They
I've
love
talked
it.
about that before, though. That's their version of the all-inclusive holiday wristband, isn't it? Like they're so rich. They're just I'm Prince, and they just put their hand up.
Yeah.
Not Prince. He's the Prince.
The Prince.
Prince.
I tell you what, I'm going to get me some lads time. I love the lads.
Why has he got a powder blue shirt on a skiing holiday? Surely you want knitwear.
Because they don't
and
have
some
any leisure
thermal
wear.
base
He's not going to crack out a Yeezy hoodie.
Have you
Is
seen
he?
what he wears normally? He wears full regalia.
Yeah.
Full uniform.
He wears
with like
ermine.
medals on. Like that is so dressed down.
A cash brunch is taking the ermine crown off.
He wears a dinner jacket to bed.
Much like Top Cat. And Frank, rumour has it. So there's a bit, there are 2 videos doing the rounds.
Yes.
One, yes, I have analysed them forensically in the manner of Helen Mirren in Prime Suspect. In Exhibit A, your witness, he is standing under a light with a sort of pink tinge and dancing to I Got Five on It. Would either of you care to... Do you know how that goes, that tune?
I'm not really a musical
artist. I Got Five on It.
There we go.
But he's right underneath the spotlight. Don't do that if you're getting a bit threadbare in the top cupboard.
Well,
yes,
indeed.
No, that's true. Like bad lighting.
I did feel that the Twitter commenters who were saying it's fine for him to let his hair down, that ship has sailed.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
We were talking about Prince William.
Yes.
And his dad dancing.
Now, can I step up to the plate for Prince William just for a moment?
Wow.
Sure. Knighthood. That's what you're after, is it? Playing the long game.
It's all gone a bit David Beckham.
I think he is pretty good at dancing.
Wow.
Now,
I thought his moves looked all right.
Yeah, that is good.
What did he do wrong?
I don't dance.
I've lost the power of speech.
I don't dance because
No.
it doesn't look good. And I've never seen a man dance and thought, oh, maybe I should dance, because he looks amazing. But I thought he was doing pretty well.
Ricky Martin, Shake a Boom Boom.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen for me.
You can't think.
Well, it might happen for you. It's not going to happen for me with Ricky Martin. Let's leave that one there. That was a big disappointment to me.
Yes. Yeah, he's a pretty good dancer.
What, you don't think it's bad?
I didn't think it was bad or good. I think it pretty good is over egging him.
I think
he was doing the air traffic controller hand movement.
He's military. That's part of his life, isn't it?
He drives an air ambulance.
Just be glad he didn't have 2 table tennis bats, one in each hand.
He may as well have, Al. He was doing air push-ups. I know you're a fan of a gym.
I'll tell you what he was doing.
What?
He was putting his hands in the air like he just don't care. And if there is a time and a place in life to not care, it's when you're a prince. Before you're a king.
He looked under the pink lighting with the bald spot there. I've said it. No euphemisms. I've said it.
He was dancing.
It's gone.
Like
The hair's gone.
He was dancing like there was no one watching. We can have one rule for the royals and one for everybody else.
Can I give you a piece of life advice?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
In the manner of Florian, never dance like there is no one watching. Always assume you have an audience of at least 1,000 when you're dancing.
You've rewritten a whole really massive bit of advice there. Never dance like no one's watching.
I think that's true. I think that it's a bad advice. Dance like no one's watching.
I think this driver has swayed your whole ideology and philosophy of life, because I think you're discounting some important key bits of life wisdom.
All I will say when it comes to dad dancing, I do have strong views on this, because I have seen the dad at a barbecue, Mustang Sally, bootcut jean and a sneaky Peroni. We've all been there.
Oh, dear.
I mean, come on. And there's just a certain type of music, and I think he got excited. He heard a bit of dad hip-hop, and that I Got Five on It is a bit dad hip-hop. So, Alan, I can see you're objecting facially.
I'm agonised by this constant use of the phrase dad dancing. Agonised. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I feel sorry. And I know they're a tiny, tiny constituency, but what about like professional dancers who are also dads? Whenever they hear the phrase dad dancing, they must think, I'm really good at dancing. Why are people saying that my dancing's rubbish?
We have to stand up for minorities.
Exactly.
I'm glad you're putting it out there for the privileged male. I mean, he also danced, William. Okay, he danced to Pharrell, who I believe Frank calls Farrell, in an attempt to make him sound a bit more West Bromwich. Farrell.
Again, if anybody in the world can dance to the song Happy Now, it's a prince.
I thought you were going to say it's Frank.
No.
Although Frank's now very famously associated with dancing in his pants.
And judging dancing, he's always,
He's all about the dance. I just think you've got to be careful with the dad dancing. In fact, I would like our lovely readers to text in on 8 12 15 for the kind of, I want to know the ultimate dad dancing songs. They may have incidents, but those songs that you associate with dad dancing, I've got Mustang Sally, definitely.
I'll take you Mustang Sally and I'll raise you I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt.
Oh, wow.
Powder blue shirt.
I've got to say that's going to be hard to top. If you can top the Cockerels' I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt, then text in on 8 12 15.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
We're talking about Prince William and his person who has children dancing.
Let me just say
Because Alan got offended by the phrase dad dancing.
I also got offended by Piers Morgan in the newspaper saying that William
Well, he'll be very upset to hear that because he hates offending people.
Yeah, he's a really circumspect guy. He said that William was dancing like a raver, unquote.
Yes.
And I thought, what raves have you been to, Piers Morgan? Where there's a guy in a powder blue shirt with his hands in the air like a bit of a dork. That is
saying, "Hey lads, come on."
That sounds like a brilliant rave, Piers.
I mean, it was hardly Bez, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Some guy with Vicks Vapor rub on inside a beekeeper's helmet or something like that.
I believe.
That's a real rave.
I love it when Alan talks about his dark past. I believe he used the phrase gallivanting like a raver.
Did he?
Which is very what your nan would say.
That's what my mum would say. She loves gallivanting.
Yeah. No, I think we can agree that wasn't very happy Mondays.
We've had many suggestions.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about dad dancing, the ultimate dad dancing anthems. Go on.
Yeah, the safety dance, Men Without Hats, the ultimate dad dance song from 111.
Okay, I mean, I suppose so. I would say that was more of the you're thinking dad. I would say that was more your bookish dad. But anyway.
Baggy trousers, always a hit with the men in my family at gatherings. I mean, that could be a suggestion for a song, or it could just be that the men in her family always wear baggy trousers to gatherings.
Yeah, no, I'm going to let baggy trousers. I'm going to let you have that.
It's all quite clothing based, isn't it? Men without hats, baggy trousers, powder blue shirts.
House of Pain, Jump Around.
Yes. Oh, that's so dad.
That's because they're men of a certain age. If they jump around, it will be a House of Pain.
Also,
the following morning they'll be on the Nurofen.
Dad's having a final little moment before they've got to get home for the babysitter.
Yeah.
Jump Around comes on. They like a Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh.
Good. Mine would be Stronger by Kanye West.
That I would pay to see.
That is going to get me on the dance floor.
Gareth, do you ever dance then?
Never.
Have you ever danced?
Only by myself.
Well, how does that work?
I always dance like there might be someone watching, so I make sure no one is.
You see, I can see Alan being a bit of a Ravey Davey type back in the day.
Oh, you remember when Peter Crouch used to do his famous robots? That's what I bring to the dancing party, is sort of a slightly robotic movement. American Pie, awful. Memories of woeful dads dancing to this at a wedding. Hilarious, from Joe in Coventry.
That's not a big dancing song, is it? That's not everyone on the dance floor.
I tell you what, green sleeves, come on. Come on.
Hi guys, when my husband and I got married, my friend Neil, the dad of two girls, did a spectacular dad dance to You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. Stop Hammer time.
I hope he was wearing chinos at the time.
Eunice.
Can I just also ask you another question, which is the whole idea of him going on holiday, Wills, when there are two kids at home. I mean, I don't have two children at home. I have a puppy, as we've established, but he'll be fine. He'll go in the kennels. How, and I don't think that's those arrangements are available for children. How would you feel about that? What do we think about this idea of him going on the lads' holiday anyway?
Yeah, I resent all this, leaving a wife and two children for home. Like, I've come here today and I've left a wife and two children at home. I've left Laura by herself at home to look after two children. And, this is, work, but it's also fun. Do you know what I mean? You have to live a life.
You all right, Gareth?
Okay.
Also, it makes her sound really useless. Like, she's at home with the kids. And I'll be honest, industry secret, I think she might have help. I just think there might be help. Like, she might have prearranged that her sister comes round and makes a sandwich, or maybe there's some other staff around. I don't know.
You know what I'm loving?
There's help.
You and Gareth, it's all gone a bit Dad's on the rampage. Mustang Sally. That's next.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yeah. We are talking... Well, we were talking about Prince William, but I realised you're the guest in the house.
Me? Gareth Richards?
Yeah. What about you, Gareth? What have you been up to?
Oh, so much has been going on with me.
Okay.
Busy, busy, busy.
I'd like you to maintain the reference of yourself as Gareth Richards all the way through this.
Is it an anecdote involving you in a supermarket? Because they tend to be.
I've done so many things, but yes, I have been shopping. This is the big news. I went, and this never fails to make me happy. I'm a dad. I'm getting older. We're all getting older.
We're all getting older.
Of time.
When you say you've been shopping, do you mean retail therapy or big basket full of foodstuffs?
Yes, no, retail, like buying things to make myself feel better, that does not happen.
That sounds a bit worrying.
That doesn't happen.
No, that does not happen. Because,
Yeah. I don't advise it either.
Spending money tends to make me anxious.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can see that, Gareth. I can see that.
Quite weak.
So where do you go? So, yeah, I can see Gareth. Yeah, I just need to go and get some retail therapy. Go to Morrison's.
Bernardo's.
Yeah.
That's what.
So what's happened?
So I was in Sainsbury's and doing a big shop, which slightly adds to the weirdness.
Also, Gareth's anecdotes always sound like the beginning of a Kirsty MacColl song, I find. Go on.
And it's very exciting, guys. I got ID'd. I was buying 2 bottles of wine.
Wow.
And I got ID'd.
What was the wine?
They asked for... I think probably
£10 says Jacob's Creek.
Chardonnay.
Okay.
I tend to not go straight to Jacob's Creek because sometimes it's not on offer.
Okay.
And,
it's a very decent wine, by the way. In case they're considering sponsoring the show, that's unlikely. Anyway, let's not get into that whole murky area. Gareth.
Yes. And I mean that's a big deal, isn't it? I mean, I'm 37 years old.
37?
37
we're bringing
years
out
old.
ages. Let's not do that.
Don't worry, Em. Don't spook.
Okay.
42. Why not?
Not a horse.
We're not going to go round the group. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I've gone round. 37, 42. Oh, is that the time?
37, 42.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Gareth.
Yeah, so I was ID'd trying to buy alcohol at 37 years old. And so do you know what the cutoff is?
18.
18. I know.
In like Flynn there.
There's an age where they have to ask you still if you're not over...
21?
Is it 25?
25. Sarah.
You see that?
Don't understand.
Sarah, one of the millennial correspondents on the show, it has just... she motioned 25. Is that correct?
I didn't understand what Gareth's question was. The age that you're...
Yes, so if you seem like you're... If they're not sure that you're over 25, they have to ask you.
Right.
So that's the rule. It's not just over 18 or even 21.
So 21-year-olds, if they're buying alcohol and they don't get ID'd, they should be a bit miffed because it means they look over 25.
But 25 seems quite old. I mean, my worst drinking years were behind me by then.
Me too.
I'd done my partying.
No, they weren't, actually. They weren't. Sorry. I was just getting going at 25 looking back at it.
I was going down memory lane there.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about me.
I'm always thrilled to be ID'd, and I'm never put off by how qualified I think the cashier is to make that call.
How old was the cashier?
The cashier, I mean, he was older than me, but I stand by my belief that those people, the one thing they definitely need to do is be able to tell how old people are and that they're not too young to buy alcohol. Anything that made me suggest they're unqualified, I dismiss. And I think
he was concerned about something else, like a scanner or
no, he has seen
rogue letters that was down by those.
I mean, do you ever get asked for ID, Al?
No, and in fact, I've got.
Well, you no longer buy alcohol.
No, I don't. But also a couple of bits of stand. I'm now at the age where, when I mention my age on stage, the whole crowd go, "Mm-hmm." Like this. They go,
wow. No, I've noticed when I mention my age, which I don't, but on the rare occasions I do, people just say, all right.
Yeah.
They don't say, oh, you don't look it.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm comfortable with it. And hey, we're all special in our own little way.
Yeah.
No, but I was delighted. And also, then you have to show the ID and you're like, look how old I am.
Excellent.
And you got it wrong.
You must have been so excited.
The unusual thing about it, the unusual thing for me was that I was with my children.
Okay.
So I had a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old with me. And what's confusing about that is, I mean, I guess I could have had children quite young. So if he thinks I'm 25... or just under 20, I look under 25. Yeah. I could have had a 7-year-old, just about. That's one way. But then the other way to look at it is he thought I looked so young that he thought we were a gang.
Yeah.
Like a sort of Stranger Things gang.
Yeah, and I was just the one who they thought we thought I looked the oldest out of us.
So you think you look about 9?
So I don't know which, because it doesn't.
Did you all have bikes or something tied up outside? I just want to say, Gareth, this is a truly great day for you. If that's true and that man did think that, all I can say is well done.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. I'm not Frank, I'm Emily Dean. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm here with Gareth Richards.
Hello.
I'm here with Alun Cochrane.
I'm not Frank.
No, you're not Frank either. We love him and we miss him, but he's otherwise engaged.
Gareth, you Frank?
I'm Gareth Richards.
What else? Has anyone been contacting us from the outside world?
Yes, 171 got in touch to say it's Ask 21 in England and Ask 25 in Scotland.
What's this that we were talking earlier about? Yeah, when you were asked for your
I thought
ID.
that was a rugby score momentarily, but it's not.
Yes.
If anyone working in an alcohol shop out there, alcohol shop off licence, wants to ask my age, I'd be really happy. I won't tell them.
Ask your age.
I won't tell them.
Dave in Grimsby has said, I stopped getting asked for ID at 15 years old.
Wow.
That's what Grimsby will do to a man. No,
So when they ask you for the ID, which it's been a while, I won't lie, do they say to you, how old are you? In an accusatory fashion?
Yeah.
Or do they just say, are you over 25?
Say, how old are you? And then when you say the number, they go, prove it! Like that. Just,
So you go,
really
how much?
passive-aggressive.
I'll tell you what we haven't talked about this morning, boys. I think you know what I'm going to say.
I don't.
Architecture.
No.
Gareth Richards.
No, we've talked about you quite enough.
Okay.
There's a few news stories out there, but one of my favourites was
I think I've guessed already.
What is it?
Hashtag GBBO.
Goth British Bake Off
Yes.
with Noel Fielding.
Indeed.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute scenes, as I believe the millennials say.
Curveball booking. Apparently George Osborne turned it down based on being too busy. He said, I've already got 6 jobs. And
Yeah.
they said, oh, OK, we'll go with Noel Fielding.
I mean, to quote Frank, who knew? Noel Fielding and cakes. Man looks like he hasn't eaten in 20 years.
I feel for Noel Fielding today because the papers are full of people who've turned down the job that he's just got. Like, it must be an awful... I just think I'll just have a coffee and flick through the tab. Oh.
Who turned it down?
Well, they did ask George Osborne to host this
George
show
Osborne.
before I decided
9
to.
people said no to it, and I've said yes. What's wrong with me that I'd like the sound of it?
Well, I think people maybe thought it was a somewhat toxic property.
Yes.
Because of the history. And I think the thing about Noel Fielding, I mean, I'm pleased he's got the job because I really like Noel Fielding.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's the kind of person that a lot of people would shout weirdos at. And I think I want people like that to get as many jobs as possible
Yes.
because I think that's good. We've got enough men in coach driver sleeves shouting lefties.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, that's not you. You have got coach driver sleeves. But yeah, no, I think he's a good appointment. I mean, I think what was strange about it was that he looks like the last time he went near to an oven was when he was lighting a cigarette off it, to be honest.
Or he looks a bit like he might sort of live in some sort of old coal furnace oven. He's got a otherworldly vibe. It's going to be him and Sandy Toksvig.
He said
They're
he
the
worked
team.
in a cake shop, though.
Oh, really?
Well, that got my suspicions.
Cake shop.
Well, he called it
is
a
that
cake shop.
code?
Does he mean a bakery?
Yeah.
I mean, he called it a cake shop,
Does it
and
mean a cake shop?
he said he got sacked for lying on the floor because he was eating the merchandise lying on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a problem.
Well, why was he lying on the floor?
On day one, get your feet under the table a bit first before you start eating the merch.
I mean, no,
what
I
I
don't
say.
want to cast aspersions. Was it because of the cakes that you were lying on the floor?
Big night. Big
yeah.
night before first day at work.
And what did Florian say about alcohol?
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting. I mean, he's a bit of a party animal, but I think it's a good booking. It's what I believe is called a disruptive booking. Do you know about this?
No. But
Okay.
I'm guessing.
So like a booking that's going to ruin everything.
No, it's a buzzword they use in Silicon Valley, disruptive. And they use it to apply to things like new technology, things that are truly innovative. They say, let's do something disruptive.
In a good way.
Exactly.
Like right, yeah. So he's disruptive in a good way.
Yeah. He's going to be surreal.
Yes, well, the person who...
Unicorn flapjacks.
Yeah, that's good.
What were you going to say, Gareth? You may speak.
Shampoo, hairdresser, brownies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not good at that sort of thing.
Okay.
The person who's weighed in on it is Serge from Kasabian.
Yes, that's his good friend, who's also
There's no
a friend
comment from Noel, so they've asked... I guess he looks similar.
Yeah.
Are they just all friends with people with the same haircuts as them?
You have to have that hair, which means on a good day, with the right amount of Alnet hairspray, I can go a bit that way. A bit Dorian Birds of a feather.
Excellent.
I'm in with a shout as well.
Brilliant. You could get a spin-off there.
These are my new friends.
Nice. Serge has said, if Salvador Dali can do a chocolate ad, he can do Bake Off. Which is bizarre to liken him to one of the greatest artists of all time. But,
well, I know what he means, though.
Yeah,
I think he's worried
surreal.
that people are going to be saying he's kind of sold out doing that.
It's just he needs to make sure none of the clocks melt. Timings are very important for Bake Off.
I don't want him putting on any weight because skinny jeans are part of his brand.
Oh, yeah, you don't want him having like a big muffin top in a bad way. Obviously, there'll be muffins, but...
I don't know, though. He's just going to have to swap the skinny jeans for the elasticated waistband. Back of a Sunday supplement.
Age comes to us all.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
We're talking about Noel Fielding, the Goth British Bake Off host, the new host.
Surprise booking,
Yeah.
I think. But they're all surprise bookings, aren't they? Except for Paul Hollywood.
So who are the other ones in it?
Sandy Toksvik.
Oh, I love a bit
Paul
of
Hollywood.
Toksvik.
Yeah, I think everyone loves Toksvik. Paul Hollywood was already there. He's entrenched, I think you'd say.
He's a bit of a dad dancer.
Yes,
He's a bit Mustang Sally.
He'd get up on the dance floor, wouldn't he?
With a brown
Noel
slip-on
Fielding.
shoe and a boot cut,
He's a
bleached
boot
jean,
cut, definite boot cut.
foot tapping.
And the cookery writer and presenter Prue Leith.
Yes.
That's right.
That is quite a foursome, isn't it? I don't know what any of those four have got in common, other than that they're the new hosts of Great British Bake Off. What are they going to talk about during the recording breaks? I can't think of anything.
That's why I like the disruptive casting of Noel Fielding.
It is disruptive.
Sandy Tick, yes, I can see that working. I can see Prue Leith, I can see Paul Hollywood, even Mustang Sally.
Sandy Toksvik said a nice thing where she said, I'm already on Channel 4 in the afternoons, so it'd be nice to be there in the evening, as if it's all live. Like, she's just going to roll it in. I'll just bring two outfits, yeah?
Yeah. She's of a certain age. She's playing the game. I like it.
She's everywhere.
I love that about Toksvig. But he's an interesting character, isn't he, Noel? And I think it's nice and good for them to have someone on TV, as I was saying earlier, he's just not a basic bloke.
Was it him that said that Salvador Dali did a chocolate advert, or was that said on his behalf?
I think.
Well, should we go over to Gareth, our Serge from Kasabian correspondent? Gareth,
yeah, so
have a scene.
This just in, it was Noel's close friend Serge Pizzorno from the band Kasabian, and he said Noel phoned him up to have a chat about it. Brilliant. Because when you need wisdom, if you haven't got a driver to hand,
if you haven't got a Florian, you scroll down to the S's.
For a rock star.
Like when Noel Fielding looks for wisdom, he goes to a rock star.
Brilliant.
Who looks almost identical to himself.
Gareth, you may not know this. Apologies for the name dropping. Title of my autobiography.
That would be a great title.
He sat next to me and Frank at Wimbledon, Serge from Kasabian.
Oh.
He wasn't very All England Tennis Club, but I like that. Yeah. And at one point during the proceedings, at a tense match point moment, he said to Frank, and I think Frank offered him a Parma Violet.
Oh.
Frank had got some free sweets because he loves a freebie, and he said, Parma Violet, Serge. Serge went, no thanks.
Wasn't bothered for it.
No, I don't listen to that rubbish. Is he Northern? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure.
Leicester.
Oh, is he from Leicester?
Quite a tricky accent, Leicester. Very specific.
Very.
Leicester. I can't do it. I lived in Leicester for 7 years. Can't do it.
Wow.
Whereas normally,
Work
I'm
harder.
like a chameleon.
In fact, I've heard you're the man of
many
one
voices.
voice, aren't you?
I can do David Mitchell. Hello, everyone. I'm David Mitchell.
I'm not sure
Do you know
can.
what? It's like he's in the room.
Frank Skinner on the radio.
So we were going to talk about.
I just did a bit of breathing, which I didn't
sorry.
like on the mic. I just think it's not a very nice way to open a link, is it? Me going,
Some people might have loved that bit of that link.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, heavy
Okay.
breathing fans.
hope you enjoyed that.
I mean, this week, was it this week or the last couple of weeks, just the most wonderful thing that's happened to me in a very long time.
Is this about you being
Wow.
ID'd when buying alcohol
Okay.
again?
Can we
Since
just-
then,
Hear ye.
Going over to the Surge from Kasabian correspondent, Gareth Richards.
is I don't share a lot of viral videos, but when I saw the Kelly...
Very glad to hear it.
the Kelly family video about the guy, is he in South Korea?
No, he's a South Korean expert, isn't he, that guy?
But
Yes.
anyway, he's
I think
doing
it might be in
political expert.
Washington
I don't know
or
where he
something,
is.
I'm not sure.
He's doing a video on Skype with the BBC, and then his family invade in the background.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and what I wanted to just...
You say his family, I say my spirit animal, Marion Kelly with the yellow jumper, but we'll get back to her.
And why I think it's a video for our times is he starts off, the clip starts with him saying, scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals? And then what happens next is just the perfect, visual image of that.
Yes.
Where
A visual riposte.
his little girl, it's the brilliant contrast between how serious and professional he is, and then how completely carefree and jaunty his
Yes.
little girl struts in doing a little dance. And how does he deal with the scandal? He tries to push it behind him.
He suppresses it,
He
Gareth.
tries to suppress it and go, and so the next videos come out, which is them talking to the family, and he's explaining it, and
Yeah.
that's really lovely. And he says there were toys behind him.
Well, that's a lie, Sean Spicer, because there weren't. There were 6 books on that table. Another video I've studied forensically. She comes in, she has the sort of manner of a young Liam Gallagher when she walks in.
Yeah.
Doesn't she? She's swaggering. Sunshine. I almost expect her to say sunshine.
Love it.
She is extraordinary, this child. I
Yeah.
absolutely love her. Have you seen her clothes?
Yes.
Press conference
Awesome.
too. She had a Burberry trench on and she's 4.
Did she?
Yes, a belted Burberry trench.
Absolutely fantastic.
I absolutely love her. But you're right, she does. She defines the word jaunty, Gareth.
Yes, she's amazing.
And he deals with it. I mean, I sort of feel quite sorry for him because he's tried to pretend that he's very professional and I'm in an office coming live to you with my special news reports and I'm very intellectual. And then old Sunshine comes strolling in and it's all gone.
I love
That's it.
I watched this clip mainly to learn how to parent. because if that was me, there would be an awful viral video where I said, "Get out of my office! I'm doing a video for the BBC! How many times?" It would just be awful. Awful.
And there would be category C swear words.
Everything.
Well, while we were trying to do that link, OJ Borg came into my line of view, and he's distracting. I won't lie, he's disruptive. So I was going to shout at him, but I won't.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Professor Kelly
Yes.
and his rather marvellous family. And it's strange because, obviously they've become something of a sensation. And he seemed a rather reluctant celebrity to begin with. Oh, he's taken to it now like a duck to water. He's
he?
loving it. Well, yeah, they'll be getting the deals now, won't they?
Oh yeah. What are they going to sponsor?
Well, they'll be child-based, won't they?
Yes.
Oh yeah, like the little walker that the baby's in.
There'll be
Oh,
something like that.
Door locks.
Yeah. Oh, actually, if you could text us in on 81215, if you could
Yeah,
think of
just
any sponsorship deals
product?
that could be thrown the Kelly family's way, that would be good. Yeah, something to do with keeping children out of the room.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money there is in the child gate.
Yeah.
And it's sort of
Put something heavy against the door. It's done.
Was that what
Got a
you
crackly
do?
throat. Can you hear that? I should clear it really, but I'm tempted to just.
Oh, please,
like this for the rest of the
do it
show.
off the mic.
Is that
please.
vocal fry? I think they call it vocal fry.
Oh, please don't do that, Alan. It's absolutely disgusting. Alan, please don't do that.
It's kind
Excuse
of
me.
a mark of. It's a mark of how things
back.
have gone with the internet. Is that for 10 minutes everyone thought it was hilarious and loved it, and then people started saying abusive father, the way he treats those children.
Well-
And as Alan has said, if he's an abusive father, we are in trouble.
There was also someone having a bit of a rant saying that I'm sorry, excuse me if I don't find this funny. I admit that I'm imposing a tone on this article which wasn't necessarily present, but that's how I felt as if it was written. And the lady concerned was saying, I mean, this just sums up the patriarchy to me. This is the patriarchy and everything I hate about it. The poor woman is running around looking after the children while the man's in the office. The man is not in an office. The man is in a little room off the kitchen pretending he has an office.
Yeah.
I felt quite sorry for the man. He tried to pretend he had a nice study and it was all professional.
Yeah.
And then sunshine comes in, followed by baby in the stroller going, "Rah!"
And
followed by manic mother.
And he makes a very good point, is that he says, we don't lock the door. The kids are allowed to come in the office very well. And that was very clearly not a child who was frightened of her father.
Yes.
She wasn't fearing
She was as frightened of her father
You
as
might
I
think
am
the
of
reverse.
Frank. Yeah. It was. In fact, I'd like to think it's sort of much like the show when Frank's here. It sums up my contribution on the show, the girl in the yellow jumper. But he said this, Professor Kelly, afterwards. He said, I'm a little bit wary of the fallout from my academic credentials. Oh, come on, mate. Just as we were warming to you, now I think you're terrible.
Yeah, sorry.
Come on. Don't be like that.
No, his wife said people should just enjoy it and not argue. And I think we should all embrace that mantra.
Do you know what? I think that is a very good piece of life advice.
Yeah.
Is his wife called Florian by any chance?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we were talking about the Kelly family.
We were.
Because they've done an interview about the interview that got them all the attention.
I find that one less fun to watch. I'll be honest.
It's not as funny. I mean, the kids
way
are kicking
longer.
off still.
I found it more predictable. Well, older Marion in the trench coat. There's no stopping that
Well,
woman.
I think they need some older generation people to stumble in. They need some extra family members. Maybe
Yes.
insane
Well, this
grandmother.
original grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite a sequel, is it? They've not raised the stakes.
No.
Anyway.
And so at the end, the same news presenter who's did the original interview says, I had a suggestion on Twitter that maybe you should buy your wife a spa date to thank her for all the work she did in that video.
Filthy creep.
And I hate that. I think he should. And he was very gracious, but I would have been like, "Oh, that's an interesting. I've got an idea. Why doesn't everyone mind their own business and leave us alone and stop judging our family?" I mean, it's just poor Prince William all over again.
Also,
He's left a wife and 2 children in the other room.
Gareth's got a lot of pity for the establishment this morning.
You're right, though. It would be
BBC
great.
correspondent.
If that was the Professor Kelly's breaking moment, I think you should get your wife. What are you getting your wife?
Look, if
Mind
he
your own
had
business.
Yeah, he just lost it. If he had any smarts about him, he would buy that spa day. He'd record it. He'd say, "Me and my wife are here enjoying a lovely couple spa day, and guess who'd be coming in? Sunshine."
Yeah, I don't want them to end up being paraded as the comedy family. That
Well,
would
the
be
children.
shit. Yeah,
it was
the
good
whole
enough for
thing.
my childhood, mate.
Fair enough,
Wheeled
yeah.
out at dinner parties, 2 a.m, do your act.
Never did you any harm, did
7
it?
years old, you're doing a wedding speech tomorrow for the Times foreign correspondent. Thank
Wow.
you. Yeah.
Can we just talk about this?
Can I just say, stormed it.
Well done.
Alan, over to you.
I did a gig this week, but I had something of a parking nightmare. It was a gig quite close to my home. And
A Mancunian gig.
Yeah, and I recently have had an unfair parking ticket. I was filming a little thing in a sitcom that's coming out, and I
Oh, I don't know about
parked
this.
Gigs, acting work. I mean, humble brag, everybody.
What, are we allowed to know what the sitcom is?
yeah, next week I'll talk about it another time.
Okay,
But
okay.
I want to drive through to this, if you'll pardon the pun. I went to Hartlepool to do the filming and checked into a hotel, and they told me, our parking spaces are across there in that bay. Yeah, well, I am now. But the hotel did not tell me you need to come in and get a voucher. So I parked there, got a ticket, gave the ticket to the hotel the following day saying, you didn't tell me about the voucher. They said, it's all right, we'll sort it out. A month later, I get a ticket, 100 quid fine. So then I'm in touch with the hotel. They're not helping.
Wow. So
I've had an unjust parking ticket recently, cut to last Monday night when I go off to do some new material at a gig. And I can't find a parking bay that is... I thought it was just going to be on the street, but it was in a big campus thing. Right. And it was all money. So I had to park. I hadn't brought any money. And I had to leave my car unparking ticketed for the whole gig that I was doing.
And where did you leave it? Just in the street?
I left it in a bay. I left it
in the bay
as if I'd paid. And I was thinking, I'm going to go back to a ticket. I cannot remember a single word of new material that I tried at that show.
Because you were so stressed.
I was so stressed.
So you're waiting to go back to the bay. I think this is a good cliffhanger on which to leave it. Okay?
Well, I think my 12 minutes of jokes were basically parking ticket, parking ticket, parking ticket. I think that's all I said for 12 minutes.
If you want to find out in a minute whether Alan got a ticket, bear with.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Surely not. There must be some mistake.
We left you on something of a cliffhanger.
We did.
I say something because as cliffhangers go, it's not Broadchurch.
You left your car in a bay.
I left my car in a bay. Somebody had said you need to put some cash in.
I enjoyed that.
And I did that thing of walking down to where the venue is, and then I mentioned to the venue, actually somebody else that I was walking with said to the venue
voice is croaky, clear it.
Oh, he's parked in... excuse me. He's parked in a bay without paying, but is it fine? Like, do they come round? And the guy went, oh no, they come round a lot. And so the stakes were
you were
raised.
in a they come round type of scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking, this is stressful. But there was also a bit of almost a masochistic bit of me that was thinking, well, I've recently got an unfair parking fine. For balance, at least I'll have earned this one. If I get one, it'll be rightful. I'll deserve it.
Very complex.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So then I did my 12 minutes of new jokes, which sounded to me like blah, 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 parking ticket, parking ticket, parking ticket. All I can think of is parking ticket. Get back to the car.
Yeah.
No parking tickets. Oh, man.
Wow. Do you know what?
Almost
I'm
worth
so
it.
Excited for you.
Almost worth it. And now the unjust Hartlepool parking ticket that I got a couple of months ago...
Has that been cancelled out then?
Now
metaphorically speaking.
I feel like that's now only 50 quid. When I pay it next week and it's £100, I'll feel like it's only 50 because I should have had two, really, shouldn't I?
Has this changed your views on there being a creative deity? Because there's a perfect balance in the universe.
Faith into the final link of a commercial radio show. That's one of my...
And also, I feel like I've just wandered into the junior common room and two very annoying undergraduates are sitting there.
Hang on.
If you don't mind me saying.
Because I'm in a junior common room.
You're in the junior common room, which makes you annoying.
Right, fair enough.
I was one once.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm allowed to say that. So how are you feeling about all this now?
Well, it's that thing, isn't it? It's almost like, when they say, losing your wallet and then you find it again and it's worth having lost it because you really appreciate it. I feel pretty good about it.
And you start pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty smug and pretty good.
All right about it.
Well, I enjoyed your parking anecdote, and I'm pleased with you. And now I understand.
That did not sound true, did it?
Welcome to me.
And you have parked that anecdote, and
we'll move on with our
lovely
life.
Ending on a pun. Well, was it a pun?
Really.
Not really. What was it?
I don't know. It was just a sentence. Something I said.
Ending on a sentence again.
Another great autobiography title. It was just something I said. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Gareth. Frank will be back with us next week. Be seeing you.
Hear the Frank Skinner Show as it happens. Saturday morning from 8 until 11 on 105.8 FM in London and the South East.